Hello and welcome to Hummus Recipes 2016.
What are you talking about?
All right, fine. Oh, is that not the podcast we're doing?
Nope.
All right. I did just make some hummus, though.
So today is beer, pizza, and a movie, but we're eating hummus, so it's beer. We're not even drinking.
We're not drinking either.
We had coffee.
I have to drive and Harry has to work later, so...
Coffee, hummus, and a movie. And movies. A movie.
Yeah. So far as you're concerned, listening to this one episode, a movie, but it's the second we've watched today.
Yeah, this is brilliant. It's not such a great intro. So, this is the second in our little mini-series where we are watching films with bad sequels. Films that were ruined by their sequels.
Yeah, I think so. There are certainly different aspects of ways that a film can be ruined by its sequel.
Yeah.
For instance, we saw Starship Troopers last time, which
Yeah.
was ruined by its sequel for having rubbish, terrible sequels that nobody wanted to see.
Yes.
And The Matrix, as we have watched today, was ruined by its sequels, by the sequels sort of retconning stuff back into the first movie that made it make no sense.
Which there were a few little bits of, especially that last phone call at the end.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, that was Neo saying, like, well, this is how it's going to end. This is not how it begins, or something like that.
Yeah, I'm not here to tell you how it ends, I'm here to tell you how it begins.
Yeah.
Except then you gave us two more movies which did tell us how it ends, and it was wildly unsatisfying.
I enjoyed them.
They weren't terrible movies, but very much like the prequels, and I'm sure like Starship Troopers 2 and 3, there were decent scenes within there, but they were glued together in the form of a terrible, terrible movie.
Mm.
You know, and whereas The Matrix has some of the best scenes in cinema history, in my opinion, but they're also glued together in a really, really good way.
Yeah.
You know, it's more
definitely.
than just a series of good scenes. It's a great movie in and of itself.
And great dialogue as well.
Really good dialogue.
And also great sort of just the way that Morpheus spoke.
Morpheus is just amazing.
So sort of calm and just like, do I get it right now? Yes.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, Morpheus is amazing. Laurence Fishburne did a great job in that role. He was an actor before that, but he was not an actor I'd ever heard of.
No.
I'd heard of Keanu Reeves before that, even though he's clearly a less good actor.
Christopher Reeve's brother. Little known fact.
Also a made-up fact, I think, that you
Maybe.
made up.
Yeah. Not even the same surname.
Yeah. We could...
It's Reeve and Reeves.
That's a good point. I mean, we could talk forever about Keanu Reeves being a neutral mask and all the rest, but I think that's been covered elsewhere in more effect. Let's just talk about why The Matrix is great.
Yeah. Well, that's definitely our review of it, isn't it?
That's our review covered. 7 thumbs up. Go
Yeah.
watch. That's about the 11th time I've watched it, I think, at least.
Okay, so similar to the last film we watched, there was a lot of dodgy CGI in that, and in this one, the CGI dated it.
A little bit,
It wasn't
but
bad
it worked.
CGI. It like same as the last one. It didn't take you out of the film.
No, it
It
was
worked quite well.
It was the kind of CGI I like. It was the CGI that knows what it wants to achieve and achieves that well.
Yeah.
You know, the helicopter explosion and the sort of anything involving the sort of human pod areas in the real world.
Yeah.
They were all great. The Sentinels were good. They didn't make the Sentinels interact too much with real, inverted commas, real things.
Mm-hmm.
So that the CGI didn't get janky.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's easy to make CGI of more metallic things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like if you look at almost any robot that's done in CGI, it looks flawless.
Yes.
Because it's not difficult to do. It's all straight edges.
Yeah, that's true.
Bit
But
of a
the
texture
squids,
to it.
the
When it
squiddies still had the flappy tentacles, which is very cool.
Yeah.
I like those.
It's just when it comes to organic things, that's where CGI
Yeah.
can really stick
Yeah,
out.
because then you look at something like Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within, which I think looks amazing, but it is definitely flawed. It's right there in the uncanny valley.
Or all the various different Hulk films.
Yeah,
You
that's
really
true.
see CGI
But-
coming on.
Well, in Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within, I believe 2 of the characters kiss at one point, and it is practically just like two mannequin heads just bumping into each other.
Right.
It's like you're great. You're great CGI. You look amazing, but as soon as 2 of you interact with each other, it's like watching two of the baddies in Doom just bounce off each other. And
Yeah.
like the original Doom. It's really weird. Like 2 different models interacting with each other often is bad, and
Yeah,
CGI interacting with real life is also kind of bad. You know who did that well? Mary Poppins. Obviously, it wasn't CGI; it was cartoon. But I think they interacted with each other really effectively.
Well, that's because they knew what they were trying to do.
Exactly, they achieved the goal they were going for, and
Yeah.
we got some cool stuff.
But at no point in that were they trying to fool us that this is real.
No, that's true.
That's one thing that you pointed out at the start when I said, well, that CGI doesn't look very good. And it's just the bit where the camera zooms in into a computer screen and then in through a letter, and then I sort of call it out like I can see that CGI, and then you're like, well, it's not supposed to be anything, so
Yeah,
what are you complaining about?
It's CGI of a janky green computer screen, and
Yeah.
it looks like a janky green computer screen. So what more do you want?
Yeah.
Speaking of computer screens, you did point something out that I didn't notice before. The CCTV just before he loses his mouth
Yes.
was the architect's monitors.
Ah, yes, from the sequels.
Yeah. And that is something that when you watch the sequels, you think, that kind of ruined that one bit from that first movie.
I don't know, because
I think it kind of did.
it just kind of felt like, who's watching that?
Yeah,
It really did.
That to me felt like a really good scene transition to just show us that he's in a location where they're pointing CCTV at him.
Well, I could
That's fine by
have
me.
seen it going somewhere that there was this one being that was controlling Agent Smith, because like, who's talking to
Maybe.
Agent Smith in the ear?
But that's true. But that being doesn't need a monitor to look at, because that being is a machine that can just have information fed into its CPU. The architect's monitors are there for Neo to look at as a sort of theatrical thing.
True.
So it's very weird. And also, at one point, Agent Smith says something about how he doesn't want to exist in this world anymore because if they destroy Zion, that'll be the end of it, and humans will just live in the pods and the machines will be at peace.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we find out in the later films, spoiler alert, that they've destroyed Zion 7 or 8 times, and Agent Smith still exists in that world. So Agent Smith should know that?
Maybe his memory gets wiped each time.
Yeah, but
Maybe it's a new
doesn't-
program, just copy and paste from the original.
yeah, but he's part of the same
Like,
hive mind structure.
I'm recording this podcast now. I'm overwriting a template. Maybe it's
Yeah, but-
exactly that. They just got a template and they just shove them in the new
I
one.
don't know. If that's the case, then I feel like that needed a lot more explanation in the sequels than it got.
Well, yeah.
And also, yeah, a lot of the stuff in the sequels ended up doing what I really hate with the science explanations of going into a huge amount of detail and getting stuff wrong.
Yeah.
One of the big criticisms of the Matrix, the first one, was, if you block out the sun, humans don't have energy, so the machines
yeah.
can't get energy from humans. But
Yeah.
there's a little line in there where Morpheus says, combined with a form of fusion.
Yeah.
Brilliant. That
Which is-
explains it.
Yeah.
They use humans and a form of fusion to generate all the energy they want. What kind
Exactly,
of
yeah.
fusion? Doesn't matter.
That's the sci-fi sentence in it. That's the sentence
Exactly.
that qualifies it into sci-fi.
Exactly. If they had said a form of fusion which involves fusing thorium with uranium,
Yeah.
I could have said, well, you don't fuse thorium with
Yeah.
uranium. That would be rubbish.
Mhm.
It wouldn't work. It's oh god, I'm going to talk about Marvel. It's the Ant-Man problem.
I was thinking Ant-Man.
Like, it shrinks the size between your atoms.
Yeah.
Right, so how come I can get smaller than atoms? Shut up. Don't ask that question. How about it makes you smaller? Why? Pym particles. How do they work? You wouldn't understand. Anyway, moving on.
It harnesses the energy from a different dimension, the micro dimension.
That would have worked.
Yeah.
That would have been great. That would have neatly fit with Doctor Strange, which I think did the right amount of explanation.
Which
we
we-
use energy from the dark dimension. How? Because.
Yeah.
That's why. Don't ask too much.
Yeah.
You know, training and practice and years of it.
Yeah.
That's
And
enough for me.
we haven't talked about Doctor Strange yet.
No, we haven't.
Let's not do it. In
Let's
an
not
episode
talk
or
about
something
Doctor
else.
Strange now.
Maybe
Doctor
we'll do.
Strange is great.
Maybe we'll do an episode next year when it comes out on Blu-ray.
Duved.
Yeah,
yes.
because like we did Star Wars when it came out.
Oh, that's true. We did. Anyway, The Matrix.
Yeah.
we derailed ourselves towards Marvel there. The Matrix sequels did a good job of ruining The Matrix. This is, in my opinion, the example of something where the sequels
Nah,
backtracked the original film in a bad way.
no, I think Terminator did that.
Terminator did that too, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. You're absolutely right. Terminator does that a lot. This version of history doesn't count. This has been written out. Oh, God, the X-Men movies as well, deleting all of their past. That was
They
pretty
were
bad.
definitely ruined by the sequels.
Yeah, and not just,
Because there was a point when I was watching Starship Troopers just now, and there was nothing that reminded me of X-Men, but suddenly in my head I just went, oh, X-Men.
Yeah. I mean, if Starship Troopers 2 says Johnny Rico was a cyborg the entire time, then that would have really gone back and retconned and ruined the movie.
Yeah.
It's not ruined by having sequels that are bad. Like Die Hard 1, 2, and 3, the good Die Hards,
Mhm.
are not ruined by extra ones because the extra ones don't go back and say that they don't say something about what happened in the first ones that undoes what happens. They were just
Yeah.
bad films that shouldn't have been added.
Yeah.
if Indiana Jones 4 had said, well, the Ark of the Covenant, that was aliens, and the Grail, that was aliens, that would have ruined it.
If there wasn't so much love for Star Wars, then the prequels would have permanently ruined the originals with midichlorians and
midichlorians. Yeah, and giving Anakin a backstory he didn't need, and
that's not necessarily bad, but just like
he didn't need a bad backstory. A good one would have been great. Yes, I see what you mean. The overriding love of 4, 5, and 6 by grown-ups, and the love of children and idiots for the first 3, meant that we got another one.
Yeah.
My ideal for Star Wars, I think I might have said this before, would have been 4, 5, 6, stop. But given that 4, 5, 6, and 1, 2, 3 exist, yes, I want 7, 8, 9, please.
Yeah.
We'll see about Rogue One in 3 days, whether or not that's any good, because that's the first of the anthologies, and that's going to be kind of exciting.
Yeah.
Can't wait for that.
Can we do that on Saturday morning? Are you busy?
I don't know what I'm doing Saturday morning. We could probably do a podcast on Rogue One.
Yeah. Well,
Awesome.
I mean, we need to, because I'm going on Sunday back home for Christmas. So.
Oh, yeah. Harry's leaving for Christmas, and we need to tell you wonderful listeners all about Rogue One that we're going to go see Wednesday midnight when it comes out.
Yes.
Quite excited. American listeners might have already watched this movie because it comes out today, I think.
Does it? Oh, man.
I think so. I think it's already out in America, which means spoilers already exist on the online. So we have to be careful.
Oh, I've got to go offline now.
I know, it's ridiculous, isn't it?
It's this bloody time of year, isn't it? It was the same last year.
Yeah, we've talked about spoilers on this podcast. If you don't post spoilers online, people, for movies that only, or TV shows that only just came out, please. Yeah. Oh, spoilers for The Matrix. But that has been out 17 years.
I'll be really annoyed if I find out that Carrie Fisher is in this film.
Yeah, I'd be annoyed by that because I would want, if she is in it, I want to find out in the cinema.
Yeah.
Incidentally, if your swimming pool magically gravitates towards the ceiling, I want to find that out in the cinema. I won't tell you what film I'm talking about there because that would count as a spoiler. Don't watch any trailers for anything anymore. Spider-Man Homecoming was a good trailer, but I'm not going to watch any more. I watched one, done.
You're going to place a bet?
I'm going to try not to watch any more.
Bet you £10 you will.
I will. If I watch another one, it'll be by accident.
Yeah, how do you accidentally watch the whole way through the trailer?
Whole trailers, no.
I
don't accidentally watch whole trailers.
I've watched the first couple of frames of the Spider-Man trailer just so I know when it comes on to look away. Because I go to the cinema a lot, obviously, and that's gonna come on in the cinema.
Yeah, but you watch a video on YouTube, and they give you 5 seconds of a trailer before it starts, and unless you literally leap up and run out of the room, you can't avoid those 5 seconds before pushing skip.
Well, if it's only 5 seconds, that's fine. But I'm not going to watch the whole trailer.
I've seen trailers where the first 5 seconds have been enough to make me go, ugh. I don't want to see anymore.
Well, the first 5 seconds of trailers these days, a lot of them are designed for YouTube, so they just put the first few seconds in before you get to the skip option.
True.
Just to grab your attention for the movie.
But there is about 20 minutes of Rogue One out there already.
Yeah, I've
not
been watching that.
From official releases. That is too much.
Well,
that's like 20% of the movie.
We need to work out what different trailers actually are. So you get teaser trailers, which a teaser trailer can be, for example, in in The Force Awakens. We got that one over a year before it came out, which didn't show any plot at all. It just showed this character. This character didn't even say their names. There was no dialogue from any of them. There was a bit of dialogue from Andy Serkis going on, "There's been an awakening. Have you felt it?"
Yeah.
And
then there was that.
And then we get who we later find out is Finn, who we think is the main character and kind of is whatever. And there's that whole thing. They show BB-8 and everybody's like, oh my god.
Yeah. I would have very much liked it if that trailer had shown us even less of Rey, so that when she turns out to be the main character, that's more of a surprise.
Well, because I think it worked well because then okay, there's a bunch of new people and not just adding one person and centering a film around.
I don't want to rag on Star Wars Episode 7 too much because I think that their trailers were quite good.
Well, yeah.
The teaser and one trailer.
So that one was a teaser. There were then 2 trailers following that. There was the one that had Luke Skywalker talking over it, saying something about my sister has it, I have it, my father has it.
Yeah.
You have that power too. And it concludes
Which I don't think was actually in the movie.
No, it wasn't. And it concludes with Han and Chewie stepping onto the Millennium Falcon going, Chewie, we're home.
Yeah.
And so everybody blew their minds because you just saw Harrison Ford in live action.
Yeah, but it also tells us that they have lost the Millennium Falcon and need to find it again. That's too much of plot.
It's not too much. It's just bits of plot. It's just that wasn't too much. They didn't give away the film.
I felt like that it would have been better without that. Felt like I go see a
Well,
film to
trailers,
find out the story. I don't watch a
trailers
trailer to see the story.
well, trailers are there to raise excitement without giving away the whole film.
You know what would raise my excitement? A poster and a release date.
Well, it wouldn't.
Title, release date.
Well, it wouldn't, because
Totally would.
that poster would have come out 18 months before the film came out. In that case,
That's true.
And
Give
you-
me
and
another
you forget
poster.
about
Give me
it.
as many posters as you want.
what were you doing 18 months ago?
I don't know. Probably sleeping.
Yeah,
Spent a lot of my time doing that.
You think you were in America, in California?
No, I wasn't. That was way back.
It was a year and a half ago, wasn't it?
No, more like 2.5 years ago.
Sure, whatever. But yeah, so you'd lose excitement. You need to get given excitement every now and then. They release their trailers about every 4 months or so.
Yeah,
Like, that's
7
a long
wasn't
time.
terrible. I feel like Rogue One is reasonably bad.
So there were 2 trailers. There was that. Then there was the other one, which was the main one, which still didn't show much plot. Just showed a lot of different bits of different battles, and so you got an idea of the different places
We
this
got the
film's
scale,
going to
we got
go,
the
and
idea they were going
all
somewhere.
that.
Yeah.
And the music was great, and then it concluded with tickets on sale now, and then
Yeah.
and then Fandango crashed, which was just amazing.
Yeah.
From then on, there was an international trailer which showed like a tiny little bit of new footage, but it was aimed at the Chinese market anyway. And so it was essentially the same trailer, but just
Yeah, slightly modified trailers. I don't have a problem.
and then following that, it was all TV spots, which didn't give much away, but showed lots of different bits of action sequences. Which, if you pieced all the pieces together, which most people did, they could work out different bits.
Yeah,
in fact, even the poster gave away too much for some people, because it showed there was a Starkiller base.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
And people just like, that's like the Death Star.
Yeah.
Is this going to be the
Yeah.
same as A New Hope? And then it was for a lot of people.
Well, Batman Superman went ahead and released, in my opinion, the best scene from the movie, almost entirely in full.
Well, that was
the
a TV.
Batman smashes people.
Well, that was a TV spot.
Yeah.
And so TV spots, they're designed for much. They're not really designed for big fans like you and me, who are going to see something and then watch an analysis video and talk about it on a podcast.
Well, I'm not doing any of that anymore. I'm not watching any more trailers. I'm not watching analysis videos.
TV spots are not for that. TV spots are to come up like in public events on TV. Just these little bits which are just going to get your average Joe to be like, oh my god, that's Batman. That's a really cool thing that Batman's doing. I want to go and see that.
Yeah, I feel like you can get that with one trailer, not 15 minutes of footage.
You can't because you can't fit it in an advert break. These things are for different markets. Is what I'm saying.
Don't show us that so much of the movie.
You don't need to watch it. You just don't click on it. Don't watch it. It's fine. I haven't seen
It's very much thrust in your face, though.
Well, it's not. I haven't seen a single TV spot for Rogue One. I'm hopefully not going to see a single trailer, TV spot, teaser, anything for Spider-Man.
Yeah, I mean, it is possible to avoid. I grant you that. I just feel like they're doing themselves a disservice by not letting us experience the film properly. I feel like they're in the pursuit of money, in the pursuit of bums on seats. They seem to be watering down their artistic creation, and I find that's annoying for me. But I find it weird that they would choose to do that.
Well, it's how blockbuster films have always worked.
Yeah, and I think that's weird. I think it's weird.
Brings money in.
I would like it if the art.
It clearly works. Look at.
It works. It works. It makes them more money. Does it make people enjoy the film more?
There's more sequels, so I'm going to say yes.
If there's more sequels, that just means more money. That doesn't mean people
Not necessarily.
enjoy the films more.
Things get cancelled, even sequels get cancelled even if a film makes a profit. Fantastic Four made a profit.
Yeah, I know, and that's despicable.
So
we should stop going to these terrible films.
So why would they not make another one? Make a sequel?
Because it was awful and everyone hated it.
Exactly, and they're not. So they're not just looking at money; they're looking at ratings as well.
Feels like they're looking at money a bit too much.
It got good ratings, like before people went to see it.
Well, this actually cycles us round a bit to the idea of pointless sequels. Sometimes you get a sequel that is artistically made.
Yeah.
For a real story, and I feel like the Matrix sequels, which the Wachowski siblings created, were a misguided, in my opinion, attempt to continue the story in an artistic way.
Yeah.
I don't think that they were just trying to make some money. Whereas your ongoing Terminators, your ongoing Die Hards, your ongoing Indiana Jones are quite stinkingly, clearly money-grabbing events.
Yeah.
I believe that Ghostbusters is that as well. I believe, the remake of Ghostbusters, I think, is one of those, whereas I think Ghostbusters 2 was just a bit bad. It was an attempt at artistic vision rather than an attempt at making money. It was just a bit of a misfire.
Yeah.
But look at Amazing Spider-Man. They literally made 2 movies just so Marvel couldn't have the rights back.
Well, they literally made 1 movie, so they couldn't do that. The second one was trying to launch a universe.
Pretty sure the second one was because it's a few years later now, and Marvel get the rights back if we don't do another one.
No, they were quite soon after each other, those two movies. They were like 2 years apart.
Still.
And they had plans to do a Sinister Six movie.
Oh God, yeah, I'm glad that was
And
canned.
there were going to be more Spider-Man movie. Amazing Spider-Man 3
Still,
was in the
doesn't
works.
sound like an artistic reason. Sounds like a money-making reason.
Well,
And-
they just wanted to have what Marvel has.
Yeah.
Which is a massive universe of interconnected stories. Which
Using
all work
only
really
Spider-Man.
Well.
It was
Using only Spider-Man
doomed to fail.
and his villains and giving them all the same origin story. Oh, yeah, it was a mech suit in the basement of Oscorp.
Which is not even slightly different from Iron Man's, basically.
Wow.
Someone has a mech suit. Ironmonger has a mech suit that he nicked from Tony Stark. Very
That's
similar.
One.
Anyway, we're back to Marvel again. Oh no. But yeah, I feel like that is maybe where sci-fi creates such a rich vein for making sequels that end up ruining stuff.
Yeah.
Because you create a wonderful world like The Matrix, and then you leave a wonderful question mark at the end of how could this go on? And you can imagine it wonderfully how it might go on in a nice open way. And then you make them, and it can't possibly live up to your expectation in your brain. It also can't live up to in The Matrix's case, the massive effect on cinema history that Matrix had.
Yeah.
It was so groundbreaking in so many ways that the sequels just failed to do that.
Mm.
And I think that's maybe sci-fi is just a really strong vein for that, for making sequels and going, hey, we understand this world, let's make more of this world.
Yeah.
And realizing that you actually don't even slightly understand this world. And the reason why the fans loved it is not the reasons why you're making a new movie.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is why Police Academy is up to 7. This is why Indiana Jones is up to 4 and Die Hard is up to 5 now. And at a certain point, you can tell that they had lost the plot. Actually, Indiana Jones was sort of sci-fi. Die Hard very much isn't. But it's becoming sci-fi because they're spraying nuclear waste with water that makes it not nuclear waste anymore. Like, if that's not sci-fi, I don't know what is, because that's total bunk.
I have no idea.
Oh, well, stop this being radioactive with these bug sprayers. It's not radioactive now. We can go in that room. You realize you're in Chernobyl, right? You're in Chernobyl, and the room will kill you. But now you've done a little sprayy thing, and you've made it non-radioactive.
Yeah, whatever.
You realize that to make something non-radioactive requires you to release all the energy from the thing that it is got stored up. And given that it's got a half-life of a few million years or whatever, you do realize that if you release all that energy, you will all die immediately, because what you've done there is basically set off a nuclear bomb under your feet. So either it didn't work and you'll die of the radiation, or it did work and you die of an explosion.
All right, well, that's
Ross's science corner, ladies and gentlemen. Don't watch any of the Die Hard movies past 3. They're real bad.
To conclude on The Matrix.
Really, really wonderful movie.
Yeah.
Should not have made any sequels. This is the most egregious sequel ruining of the series of 6 movies we're watching, I think.
So far.
No, I think apart from Police Academy, of all the movies we're going to watch, I know them well enough, and I know that the sequels didn't make it much worse.
Terminator.
Well, we in the previous episode, ladies and gentlemen,
anyway,
we asked you to guess which movie series I was talking about.
We already said Terminator earlier in this episode.
Yeah, but we didn't mention that we were watching it. Could have been Terminator. Could have been Alien.
Could have been, yeah, maybe. Who knows?
But it's Terminator.
maybe it is.
All right, anyway, that was The Matrix, ladies and gentlemen. We really loved it. Don't watch 2 and 3.
Nah. All right. Catch you in the next one.
Bye.